Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Forman, and this is the Lost Uber Driver. And the Uber Driver is an extension of the Driver Shortboard series, but with a hybrid influence on it. Now, I think that to most people, especially if you're looking at this board online, it's a little bit of a confusing board when you're looking at it, because you look at it, and to me, I don't know about you, but to me, this looks like a shortboard. It's got a narrow nose, or more narrow nose. Narrower is a tough word to say. So it's got a more narrow nose, and basically it doesn't really look too hybrid-y, but what I will say, the feel of surfing it is, I think it's a little bit easier to surf than a standard shortboard, and then also rangier, especially on the lower end of surfing a shortboard. It has more power and the ability to create more speed than a standard shortboard, especially in like kind of subpar conditions and weird stuff like small waves, backside, big surfers. It just makes more fun at a subpar condition. So what is the difference between this and, let's say, a Lost V3 Rocket? The main difference is the rocker line is Driver Series based, so it's got relatively more nose rocker and less tail rocker. So it favors a back-footed surfer, people that really like driving off their back foot. And but with this board, it's more subtle in the curves. So it doesn't have the exaggerated driver nose rocker and then ultra flat in the back. It does have a flatter entry rocker than the driver shortboards. And that obviously is going to help with ease of paddling, because you're not going to be pushing water, and then also, most importantly, ease of catching waves. That flat tail rocker really allows you to drive off the back foot, drive around sections, and create speed. So I think that's a big plus in a board like this. All of the Uber drivers come stock as a thruster. One of my pet peeves is 5-fin squash tails. I mean, one, they just don't look good. And I think just having a nice clean line to the board, and like when your fins are in, there's no extra boxes. For once, it's a good setup. That way you just get a set of thrusters and just go out and ride it and not really be fooling around with, you can tune your fins by using different fins, but not like going back and forth between thruster and quad. On a board like this is refreshing. Just go out and surf and have fun. But I surfed this board the first time down in Puerto Rico in some different reef breaks that were kind of on, kind of off. There was good sets and then also not good sets. So I had a good chance to kind of test it through its whole range. I would say the bottom of what I got a good feel for was going backside in waves about, I don't know, that big, which for me on a shortboard a lot of times is pretty challenging, generating speed in waves like that. And it's still super easy to get up on the high line and create a lot of speed and really, really maneuverable and responsive. The sets that we had that day were like well overhead, like when they would pulse in, there was a new swell arriving. And so that gave me a feel on the top end of the board, and it still held in really well. So I would say from a performance standpoint, this is a really good board, for a shortboard surfer looking for an easier, more rangy board to surf, or if you're coming off of hybrids and you're like, okay, what's the next step closer to shortboards? This would also be a great board to look at because you can get off the wider nose hybrids and still have a board that's going to quote unquote grovel well in marginal surf, but give you the maneuverability of a shortboard. Now with this board, this is part of the Proformance series, and Proformance series means that they're building it for pro performance. And so these boards have a lighter glass schedule on them than a standard Lost surfboard. So instead of being double four, single four, it's just double four. Instead of being double four on the deck, single four on the bottom, it's just single four on the deck, single four on the bottom with some extra reinforcements on the deck in the critical areas. And so what that does is it makes a lighter board, and it also makes a flexier board. You could really feel the spring out of the board. Matt Biolis got me hooked on this type of construction when he made the first board he ever made for me, which was a Lost Plank. He made it single four, and I just fell in love with it. And that's why all the pros ride it as well. The boards just feel a lot more alive. They don't feel like dead bricks. They're going to last forever. They feel really springy and really poppy out of the turn. So Super good construction, but if you're really hard on your boards, if you're basically surfing with ski boots on your feet, you want to make sure that you know what you're buying before you buy this board. But if you want the performance, if you want the Proformance, like what Lost calls it, then this is an awesome technology to check out. Yes, you will get heel dents in this board, so do not be surprised if you get a little bit more denting than on a double 4 deck, but you also will really feel the performance advantage coming out of the turns, because the board really loads up and springs out of the turns a lot better than with a standard glass schedule. So again, that's the Proformance glass schedule on the Uber drivers. This board is available in Proformance PU Poly, and it's also available in carbon wrap if you're looking at different constructions. And again, it's the Lost Uber driver. If you have any questions, you can give us a call at the shop, or if you'd like to place an order, you can give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000, or you can look us up online, realwatersports.com. Thanks for tuning in.